They say the human heart can withstand incredible pressure before it finally fractures, but my entire world shattered into pieces at precisely 6:32 on a rainy Friday evening. It was our 10th wedding anniversary, a milestone I had spent weeks preparing for with the kind of quiet excitement only a devoted husband understands. Instead of a celebration, my phone buzzed with a message decorated in digital affection, claiming an urgent corporate crisis would keep my wife at her desk until midnight. Sitting alone in my truck, a cold wave of suspicion washed over me because her recent excuses had started to feel like a carefully rehearsed script. As a self-made contractor who spent 20 years installing heavy commercial wiring, I understood the value of hard work and honest sweat, which was why this betrayal cut so deeply. I had saved for months to buy a sharp-tailored suit from a local shop and spent an hour searching for the exact variety of white orchids she carried down the aisle a decade ago. I refused to let an expensive non-refundable reservation go to waste, so I decided to walk into that upscale downtown bistro to dine by myself and toast to a ghost. That single impulsive choice altered the trajectory of my entire life. The maître d' led me to a quiet corner table near the back window, an isolated spot that perfectly matched the hollow ache blooming inside my chest. I placed the fragile orchids on the empty chair across from me and ordered a glass of expensive red wine, trying to ignore the happy couple surrounding me. When I looked across the dimly lit room, my breath caught in my throat as I spotted a familiar emerald silk dress shimmering beneath the ambient lights. It was the exact dress I bought her for Christmas, a garment she claimed she was saving for a truly monumental occasion. She was not at her office desk fighting a corporate deadline, but was instead sharing a private candlelit booth with a polished older man whose expensive platinum watch caught the reflection of the chandelier. I watched in absolute horror as he leaned across the white tablecloth and gently caressed her hand, prompting her to release a soft, genuine laugh I had not heard in years. Then she tilted her face forward and kissed him with a deep, passionate familiarity that confirmed this was not some fleeting mistake, but a calculated romance with a long history. The muffled chatter of the dining room transformed into a deafening roar. Adrenaline surged through my veins, forcing me to grip the edge of the table until my knuckles turned completely white. I stood up with the sole intention of flipping their table over and exposing her lies in front of every wealthy patron in the establishment. Before I could take a single step forward, a firm, steady hand clamped onto my forearm, anchoring me to the floor with immense physical authority. I turned to find a stern, middle-aged woman staring back at me with absolute composure. The mysterious woman instructed me to sit down immediately, her voice carrying the unmistakable weight of someone accustomed to managing high-stakes chaos without flinching. She explained that she knew exactly who my wife was kissing, identifying the man as Vance Caldwell, the billionaire investment mogul who also happened to be my wife's direct employer. This stranger introduced herself as Clara Vance, a seasoned private investigator hired by the tycoon's wealthy ex-wife to monitor his personal activities for a very specific legal reason. Clara promised me that if I remained calm, we would destroy them both. Clara slid a confidential financial document across the table, revealing that the tycoon's previous divorce settlement contained a massive $5 million penalty clause if he ever engaged in another workplace relationship. My wife was the central piece of evidence needed to trigger that catastrophic payout. But the revelation grew even more twisted as I scanned the bank statements. The documents proved that Vance had been funneling $15,000 every month into a hidden personal account under my wife's maiden name, totaling over $200,000 of concealed marital assets. The realization that my entire marriage was merely a profitable side hustle for the woman I cherished made me feel physically nauseous, completely numbing the anger that had consumed me moments earlier. Clara explained that by walking away quietly tonight, her surveillance team would capture undeniable photographic evidence of the couple entering a luxury hotel suite down the street. She offered to share her entire comprehensive investigative file with my divorce attorney, ensuring I would receive maximum leverage in court and custody proceedings regarding our 2 young children. I took a deep breath, left a stack of cash on the table to cover my untouched wine, and carried the wilting orchids out into the cool night air without casting a single glance toward their booth. Driving home in the dark, the heavy silence of the truck allowed a cold structural resolve to solidify within my chest, replacing my grief with a calculated determination. I was a technician who fixed broken systems for a living, and I knew exactly how to dismantle a structure safely once the core foundation had completely rotted away. When I arrived at our suburban house, I paid the teenage babysitter and walked upstairs to stand in the doorway of the bedroom where my 7-year-old son and 4-year-old daughter slept peacefully. Looking at their innocent faces, I realized that the woman I married at St. Jude's Church years ago was just an illusion I had created in my own mind. I did not shed a single tear that night because my focus had shifted entirely toward protecting my children and preparing for the quiet legal storm ahead. A liar. The next morning, I delivered the investigator's impeccable evidence package to a premier family law attorney who assured me that the upcoming proceedings would be devastating for my spouse.